ああ、正直明るい人たちとのプールは浮く気しかしなくて苦手かな。
そう。
綾瀬さん
なら無理に参加しなくていいんじゃないかな。
行かないの？プール。
行かないよ。
Days with My Stepsister, episode 7. This episode was the epitome, the epitome, however you want to Englishly say it. This episode was the epitome of fine. It was a fine episode. If you have been following my content, I don't know if you have or not. If you haven't, I've been telling everyone that has come, watched my reviews, this show is relegated and it dies or lives based on how well it could convey the awkward ambiance and the awkward feeling that they're trying to convey between these two characters, between Yuta and between Saki, okay? And it has the ability, or it has the, I guess you could say non-ability, it has the chance to skew into boring. And when that happens, that's a killer for the show. You know, kind of point blank, it's a killer for the show and the enjoyment level that you're going to have within that episode. This episode, I counted, it spent 12 minutes on Saki's inner monologue. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't not appreciate her inner monologue. I, last week, said I would love to see more of Yuta's inner monologue come out, as opposed to just kind of having the show be about both of these characters, but you never really get insight onto what they're thinking. So don't get me wrong, I enjoyed seeing how she's thinking. I enjoy seeing that she writes in her journal / diary every day. I enjoy it going through its different entries every day. But then you might ask, but Dom, why? If you enjoy it, what's going on, brother? Well, here's the thing. The thing with that is I would love to see that sprinkled throughout the show, as opposed to it being like, as opposed to it jacking half of an entire episode. I think these inner monologue moments should be sprinkled throughout the whole show. We shouldn't have 12 minutes of us going through, you know, January or July 31st, August 1st, August 2nd, August 3rd, August 4th, August 5th. I mean, those days have already happened in the show. They should have a cutaway, you know, 2-minute cutaway to her diary entry or something in that episode, so we can follow along instead of like cramming it all into one episode. I just don't like the way that it was directed and the way that the information flowed. And because it jacked the entire episode, it just has her monologuing for 12 minutes straight, as it shows us cutscenes of things that have already happened. So the material on the screen isn't interesting whatsoever, because it's just a slideshow of all the different shit that has happened throughout the show. Now, if she had some kind of diary entry or monologue during those events that were happening, right? An event happens and then you cut away to, you know, dear diary, this is Saki once again, and today I'm feeling jealousy. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. That makes sense. But for me, it just pulled me away because I'm like, all the stuff that they're showing us on screen already happened. The only thing that was new was the cutaways to flashing back when she was a kid. And we could see her, you know, dark hair as a kid. There was an interesting conversation that her mom had with Yuta about how Saki doesn't like the heat and she loves being, you know, in ice cream and stuff like that. And then it cut away to her being a child and her mom misses her being a child. And that changed somewhere in middle school, and that conversation falls in line with what she was talking to Yuta about, where, you know, she realized how much work her mom was putting in and she didn't want to be more of a burden to her mom. So it kind of all fall in line. So I genuinely, no shit, no shade, I legitimately enjoyed that portion of the episode. But this big monologue about her just basically telling us how she's falling in love jammed into the, you know, the one half of the entire episode, it's just boring, you know? And I hate to say it, and you might feel different. And if you do, let me know in the comments. But that's just how I feel at that particular times. Like I after this, I'm like, man, that shit was boring. And again, it's not that there's like some substance that's missing there, but the whole time she's just monologuing for 12 minutes of how she's falling in love with Yuta, how she shouldn't fall in love with Yuta, how she's doing it anyways, and how she's jealous. And she doesn't know how to tell him how she's going to go get her part-time job. Then the cutaways to, the episode transition to her doing the job. Very cute. I like seeing her in her little book uniform. I love seeing all of that, and then the episode ends with the word jealousy. No shit. No shit, bitch. We know you're jealous. Like, we got it. Like, we know. So, I don't know. That's just how I feel. And the whole time as I'm watching this show, and this show is about the forbidden love between these two. I just can't help myself, maybe because I'm old. Okay, so I'm an old dude. I'm old. I've been married or whatever. I've been with my girl for like, going on 13 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm old, man. You know what I mean? I'm old. So for me, all I can think about is how they're going to jack up their parents' lives. And I just can't help thinking about it. Because it's either one of the things is, they fall in love and their parents have to just kind of like deal with that, or they hide it, for, whatever time. Or eventually their parents find out and their parents have to now separate, because that's the only logical thing to do, because they're going to put their kids first, and then their parents are going to separate, and then they're going to mess up their parents' life and they're going to be unhappy. And then if they don't work out, then the parents are going to be resentful that they ended their love because, their stupid-ass kids, couldn't keep their grubby hands off of each other. That has nothing to do with the anime. I just want to throw that. I just want to interject my own personal thoughts. Is like, as I watch the show, I'm just like, oh, man, you go get a girlfriend. Go get a boyfriend. Like, please. But anyways, yeah, the whole entire episode about her monologuing about how she's basically just falling in love and being really jealous of the girl that works at the bookstore, and she's getting a job there that doesn't fit her, ideal income, but she's doing it so she can watch Yuta, basically, because she's jealous of the other girl, and she doesn't know how to tell him. It's like, yo, you should tell him. She doesn't know quite how to tell him yet, so I don't know. Take it for what it was. The episode was fine. It was very mid. It was like a 6 out of 10 for me. It was pretty more or less skews on the on boring for me. And again, don't take it the wrong way. There was interesting moments and interesting information, but I don't think that was enough for me to be like, oh, wow, this episode was so good. I just can't sit here and lie. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Run me wild in the comments if you feel really passionate the other way. Totally okay. Can't wait to read them. Thank you for just keeping up with me every single week and listening to my rambles about days with my stepsister. I do think this is one of the gems still of the season. I think this is one of those hidden gems that not a whole lot of people are watching this season. But, it has the potential, but then it also misses at some points too. So, all right, my friends. See you next week. Peace.